The rain came hard that day, as if the sky was in mourning with her. Fat drops smacked the bus window like little fists, but Elara didn't flinch. Her backpack sat limp in her lap, her fingers curling into the frayed seams. 13 and alone, she was being shipped to a house she barely remembered, carrying only the weight of a funeral she never got to attend. They told her it was an accident. The car flipped. No survivors, no open casket, no goodbyes. Ilara's last memory of her mother wasn't even a hug. It was a fight over spilled nail polish on the carpet. Now the silence left behind was louder than any apology could have been. The house was tucked in a quiet, orderly neighborhood outside Seattle, Kamakura Lane, named for the ancient city in Japan. Her aunt, Miriam Watanabe, had clung to their heritage with rigid pride. The home was minimalist and cold, where slippers waited by the door and rules waited in every room. Discipline is the root of respect, Miriam said at the threshold, bowing stiffly. Elara didn't bow back. The family was picture perfect. Uncle Henry, white, quiet, bookish, always adjusting his glasses like he was trying to see better, to understand more than he could ever say. He smiled at her that first night, kind-eyed and unsure. The daughter, Aiko, was 16 and mechanical in politeness, a cello prodigy and mathlete with a schedule laminated on her wall. Then there was Takeshi, 17, captain of the swim team. He had the same black hair and pale skin as his sister, but none of the coldness. He smiled too much, leaned in too close. Elara noticed. Miriam didn't. The room they gave her had a shoji screen window and a futon mattress. It smelled like cedar and order. Elara hated it. Weeks turned into months, and the war began. Her rebellion wasn't loud. It was quiet, subtle sabotage. She came home late, swapped uniforms, left mirrors smudged with lipstick. Miriam responded with scripture and stern lessons about shame, decorum, the burden of family reputation. But Takeshi, he watched, he joked, he waited. The night it happened, she just turned 14. Elara didn't scream. Screaming meant someone had to care enough to hear. She told Miriam the next morning, voice flat as paper. Takeshi came into my room last night. Miriam set down her tea without looking up. I do not want to hear this kind of behavior from you. He touched me. I said enough. Her voice cracked like porcelain. Do not shame this family. Uncle Henry had lingered by the doorway, face pale. Miriam, but he didn't finish the sentence. He never did. The months after blurred. Elara stopped going to school, started disappearing at night. By 15, she was using. Nothing heavy at first, weed, pills from older kids, but the numbness was too temporary. Her body still remembered every hand, every shadow that fell across her bed. So she chased deeper escape. By 16, heroin had taken her to the edge. Her eyes turned hollow. Her voice vanished. She had learned the language of silence, a tongue taught by trauma. She saw her abuser again, a year later, coming out of a convenience store. He winked, still bold, still unafraid. Something cracked. That night she walked into the living room where Miriam prayed, said nothing. The knife was in her coat. Her hands didn't shake. Takeshi never saw it coming. Neither did Miriam. She called the police herself, sat on the steps drenched in blood, eyes dry. I had to, she said. He wouldn't stop. A psychiatric facility tucked away in the forest, surrounded by fences and fog. Elara writes daily in a black notebook. She doesn't speak much, doesn't need to. They observe her, medicate her, ask her about the killings. Do you regret it? They ask. She looks up, smiles faintly. I regret not doing it sooner. Her doctor notes possible psychosis, extreme trauma response, detached empathy. But Elara isn't crazy. She's awake because something isn't right. A new patient arrived last week. A man in his 40s, tall, gaunt, green eyes. His wrists are bandaged. He doesn't speak. But the way he looked at her in the cafeteria, like he knew her, sent a chill down her spine. That night, she found something slip beneath her door, a paper crane, folded from an old photograph, her mother's photograph. The man never spoke, not when they brought him in under heavy sedation, not during group therapy, not when the nurses tried asking his name. He just sat in the corner of the common room, sketching in charcoal, dark shapes that looked like wings, smoke, and a girl with wide, haunted eyes. Elara hadn't seen her own reflection in months, but she recognized herself in his drawings. She began watching him during their shared rec hour. He would sometimes glance at her, something flickering in his face. Not pity, not fear. Recognition. The paper crane he left her wasn't just any photograph. It was a piece of a family photo. Her mother, young, smiling. Not the tired woman Elara remembered, but radiant, alive. And beside her was a man. Tall, sharp features, green eyes. Her hands trembled as she unfolded it completely the next night. Scrawled on the back in tight handwriting, "She tried to save you. She died for it." The flashbacks came in fragments. A woman running through the rain, a suitcase in hand, an argument over the phone. Loud, panicked. You can't keep hiding her from him. Her mother, Hannah, had been hiding something. Something big. Elara remembered her waking her up one night, whispering, "If anything ever happens to me, you fight. Promise me you'll fight." She hadn't understood it then. She thought her mother meant bullies, school, heartbreak. She didn't know it meant bloodlines, betrayal, and fear. In the therapy room, Elara finally broke her silence. She turned to the man with green eyes and asked, "Did you know Hannah Morgan?" He looked up. His hand tightened around the sketch pad. "I know who you are," she added softly. "You're my father. Aren't you?" A pause. Then he spoke, for the first time. "They told her to stay away from me," he said, voice low, voice shattered. "She didn't. She came to warn me that they were planning something, that she was scared. For you." Elara leaned in. "What do you mean, they?" "The Watanabes," he said bitterly. "Your aunt's family. She was never supposed to raise you. Hannah made sure of that. But something changed. They found her. They—" He didn't finish. The lights flickered in that moment, the facility's ancient wiring humming like a warning. Flashback, Seattle 5 years ago. Hannah Morgan drove fast through the storm, phone in one hand, daughter asleep in the back seat. She kept glancing at the rearview mirror, as if expecting someone to follow. The call connected. "I need to talk to you. Kaido, please. Listen to me. It's about Elara." "I thought you said she wasn't mine," came the reply. "She is. I lied. I'm sorry. But now it's not safe. I think Miriam knows." Tires screeched in the background. Hannah's voice broke. "She hates me, Kaido. She'll take her. I can't let that happen." That's when the truck came out of nowhere. Metal on metal. A final scream. Silence. Back in the present, Elara's fingers dug into the sleeves of her hospital sweater. Kaido. That was his name. "My aunt killed her?" she asked. "She made sure she never arrived at my place," Kaido said. "I never got to hold you. I didn't even know you were alive until last year." A nurse's footsteps echoed down the corridor. He went silent again, face blank. But Elara's world had already shifted. Miriam hadn't just turned a blind eye to abuse. She'd orchestrated her mother's death. She stole Elara's life, and now she was dead too. But somehow, Elara didn't feel closure. She felt watched. That night, she had a dream. Her mother stood in a garden surrounded by white cranes, holding a lighter and a page from a book Elara couldn't read. Blood dripped from her fingers. Then her mother whispered, "Not all of them are dead." Elara woke with a gasp, and the drawing on her nightstand, one she hadn't seen before, showed three faces: Miriam, Takeshi, and someone else, a young girl, Aiko.